Hey guys, so I'm going to be talking to you today about a book called Mathematical Mindsets. And the reason why I chose this book was because I'm a math teacher. I teach math and science and social studies. And so sometimes it's kind of hard to apply these literacy skills that we've been learning in this current class to the classes that I teach. So I chose this book because I really wanted to be able to apply what I'm learning into my math classes. And this book is all about how to unleash your students' potential, which I think can really be applied to many different areas of learning. Also, don't mind if I'm looking like kind of over here. I have notes that I want to make sure that I share with you because I do think that this book was a really good read for everybody, not just math teachers. So the beginning of the book basically talks about how everyone's brain has the ability to grow. So, and how most students really have this what they call a fixed mindset, especially in math. You know, math is a challenging subject, so if a student doesn't get something right, they automatically think, oh, math is too hard, I'm not good at it. Or even in reading and writing, you know, I'm really not good at writing. I can't really think of many ideas on what to write about. And if you have this fixed mindset, it kind of makes your view of learning pretty negative. So this book basically says to not, as a teacher, to not promote a fixed mindset, but to promote a growth mindset. So you want to promote that, no, you might not be good at it right now, but you can get better at it, and your brain is constantly growing, which is kind of funny that you think, you know, your brain can grow, but it actually can. So basically, I want to do this in my classroom. You know, I want my students not to think, okay, they're either good or bad at something, or that they're smart or not smart. I want them to understand that they can get better. Okay, so the book then goes into how to do this, and it starts with teaching that mistakes, when you make mistakes, it's a positive thing, not necessarily a negative thing. And again, the mistakes that you make in math are more obvious than the mistakes you might make in reading or writing, because the mistakes you might make in reading or writing could be more opinion based, and in math it's pretty black and white. But the idea of how to approach a mistake is the same. And if you approach a mistake in a positive way, you're going to learn from it, and you're going to not be afraid to make a mistake again, or not be fixed on that making a mistake is a negative thing. So how to do this is that you basically have your students share with the class what their mistake was. So if I was teaching a math lesson, I might say, okay, you know, can one of you share what your problem was, knowing that they did it wrong, and having the student know that maybe they didn't do it right either. And what you'll find is that most students in the class are going to say, wow, I made that mistake too, or I almost made that mistake, but then I caught myself. And when they share it, they become more confident in, what they're doing, because they're not alone and they know that other students are making these mistakes as well. And then you can learn from it. Now, to do this in a literacy type environment, it could make peer editing such a smoother process, because a student might not be afraid to share with another student what they wrote and be more open to suggestions that they have, because again, everybody makes mistakes and we're going to learn from them. So another chapter that I really enjoyed in this book was all about how math can be creative and all about the creativity in mathematics, which was kind of interesting because I think of creativity more with writing. You know, you can express yourself much easier through writing and be more creative in a writing environment. And math is much more black and white, but that's really not the case. You really can make math creative as well. And in that particular chapter, something that I found really interesting was that it had it listed basically Fortune 500's most valued skills when it came to hiring employees. And the first list was from 1970, so a long time ago, but still relevant. And it had the top two qualities being number one was writing, and number two was computational skills, which meaning math. Now the list was then redone 29 years later in 1999, and those two skills moved all the way to the bottom of the list. Writing became number 10, and computational skills became number 12. The top two skills that replaced them was teamwork was number one, and problem solving was number two. And teamwork and problem solving are not things that you teach in one subject area. You teach them throughout all subject areas. So in order to promote this and to really teach students how to work as a team and have more problem solving skills, is to promote whole and group, whole discussions in your class. when a student is able to talk through a skill, they're more engaged and it's easier for them to learn. So this can be applied in something in math when you're doing two-digit multiplication and there's a specific amount of steps. Having the students talk about it and discuss the challenges and the positives and the things they're good at and the things that they're not so good at with that skill, it becomes more engaging for them. In a literacy situation, it could be something like summarizing, or really any type of skill. As long as they're discussing it, they become more engaged and they own it a little bit more. And they learn how to work as a team and kind of support each other. This chapter pretty much spoke to me for the purpose of this class because it really started by saying how math is so different from other subjects, but when in reality it's really not. It's a language of numbers instead of words, and like language arts, but the potential growth mindset that a student can have is the same, and how the skills can be delivered is the same also. So that was pretty much like the main points that I found from this book that I found really interesting, that I'm going to definitely apply in my class and that you can definitely apply in all subject areas. It did go into more, specifically math things, but it really was a good read for every teacher. So I'll leave you with a quote from this that I really enjoyed, and it basically says, the powerful thinkers are those who make connections, think logically, and use space, data, and numbers creatively. And I want to create powerful learners and powerful thinkers in my class, and I think we can all teach children to be these powerful thinkers in both math and literacy by applying everything we know that we learned in this literacy course, and also, how to think logically, and that can be done in every subject area. Thanks.